Hello everyone, my name is Alula and today we discuss web application development using Laravel 7. We'll be discussing why do we do web application with MVC framework and what does MVC framework means by itself, and we'll also discuss what Laravel is and what's new in Laravel 7. So here in my presentation, this is the table of content for this course. And in this course, the first thing we will see is MVC. What's MVC and what does it entail? What are the building components of MVC and why do we need MVC in the first place? And then we will see Laravel 7 and the MVC components of Laravel 7, like the routing, view, controllers, and the user request lifecycle in Laravel, if you may. And then we will discuss about the application that we will build, which is a ticket tracking system. If you're not familiar with that, we'll go into detail of what a ticket tracking system is and what it looks like. So what's MVC and why do we need it? So if you have ever built an application with just PHP, it's very simple really, and you can get a simple CRUD application, which is create, read, update, delete, which is a typical application in web development within few minutes. The problem is when you have more requirements, which almost the case in software development, you start building up your code. You'll have more files, more classes, and you don't know where things are anymore. There is a class that generates view, which is an HTML page. There is a class that represents data, which is a model, and there is a class which represents a logic, which is also a model, everywhere. And this is what we call spaghetti code, where you have your code all over the place and you don't know where is what. MVC is model view controller. It stands for model view controller, and it's a way of organizing your code. So when user makes a request on simple web page, normally the user hits the controller class through the router if the application is built with MVC. Most applications are built MVC, so this is the case for most applications that you see online. And then the method inside the controller would use the data from a model and a view to respond to the user. It will just prepare a view or use a view, an HTML page built somewhere, and bring the data from the model, bring them together, and prepare the page that the user would see with the data and the HTML. The model is the logical unit. It's the entity. It's the noun in your application. But what I mean by that is when you're saying ticket management system, ticket is the first model. Okay, when you say I need a user management module, user is a noun in this sentence, and this will be your model. The view is the HTML page a user will see and interacts with. So in a user management system, an administrator will see a list of users, right? And if it's a normal user, he'll see his profile or her profile, and that page is the view, and it has the data, the profile data of the user, and some logic. All is handled by the controller. The controller is like the traffic man facilitating the cars, which are really the models and the views put together. Here is a graphical representation of MVC, where you see a user using the controller by the user might not know he is using a controller. He's just putting in a URL like www.google.com. But he is hitting the controller. Maybe in between there is a router which determine which of the controller the user is hitting. And then the controller manipulates a model, which is mainly a data or a logic, the business logic, and this model's data is used to update a view. The view might be a list of users or a list of tickets in our case, and this view is displayed to the user, and the user sees that. Next we will discuss Laravel 7. Laravel 7 is an MVC web application development framework. That's why we were discussing and what an MVC is, because Laravel is one of the most elegant MVC web application development out there, and it comes powered with building blocks. For example, in the case we were talking about where you have built your application using simple PHP classes. In that case, your classes are everywhere, and you probably haven't thought about security, for example, or maintenance, or performance. All these things are really hard to get your head around for a beginner programmer or intermediary, and sometimes for even advanced programmers. So what we come to is to use what is already built out there, and Laravel has all these components that are built by other programmers and by the Laravel team in its MVC framework. So there is a way to use a security module, a way to improve performance, and a way to make your code scalable and maintainable. Laravel MVC is well structured and organized code, which when followed could result in a successful application, and that's what we are going to do in this course. We are going to follow the Laravel 7 ways of doing things. Laravel 7 is very opinionated. Oh my god. By that, what I mean is it has a very specific way of doing things, and it uses convention, a lot of convention, and we'll try to follow those and build our application. And the project objective is obviously to learn about Laravel 7 and web application development, and to build a ticket tracking system. What is our target audience? As I have already said, I think it's for beginner application programmers, web application, or really maybe intermediary programmers too. The project we'll be building is support ticket tracking system. If you're not familiar with that, we will discuss those now. So a support ticket system is used in an organization to make the way users request for IT system help, for IT resource, to be streamlined. Okay, so here is a typical scenario. A user, let's just call him Mike. Mike has some issue with his printer or with his laptop, so he either calls, texts, or goes into our ticket tracking system, support ticket tracking system, and puts in the issue. He's saying, I just bought a new laptop, it is not working, I couldn't write my report in there. So the system generates a ticket, registered his case, and the system generates tickets and give her a ticket number. Now Mike has a ticket number. Next time he goes into the system, puts in the ticket number, and see if a person has been assigned to solve that problem, and if the problem is solved or if it is still pending. So from this discussion, we can see certain recurring nouns. One is obviously ticket, right? Ticket is about a case or request. So a request, a case is represented in a ticket, and a ticket is identified by ticket number, right? So if you heard me correctly, Mike can put in the ticket and see if a user has been assigned to it to solve it. So users are other nouns that we are interested in, and we will be discussing about this next. So the project is composed of ticket, user, and other things, right? So the IT guy who is assigned could write a note to solve this and could break down the request into tasks. So the request represented by a ticket has a ticket number, it has a subject Well, Mike is writing, I just bought a laptop, but I couldn't use it because of this. That is a subject. And the description is, Mike could go into the detail of the description. Category is, once Mike submitted it, Mike might not know about this, but we might classify the ticket into different categories like MS OS, MS Office, operating system, hardware, and different issues that Mike's problem could be categorized into different things. Priority. Priority is a way of identifying what level of priorities this ticket has. It could be urgent, high, medium, low. So Mike may be replacing his old laptop, and if he can still work in his old laptop, we can classify it as medium or high. But if that laptop is his only laptop, and if the report is due today, the request can be classified as urgent. Status is the cycle of the ticket. The ticket, when submitted, is new. When the IT manager opens it, is opened, and when an IT technician is assigned to this ticket, it becomes assigned, and when the IT guy solves it, it becomes resolved. And then when the requester, who is Mike in this case, agrees, we call it closed. So this is one noun with its attributes. These are the attributes, and we'll be discussing how to represent this in the database and in our application. In our application, ticket will be a model, but ticket will have a view and a controller too. So enough theory for us. Let's get practical. We'll start by installing Laravel by visiting this laravel.com. Docs, I have already opened it here. Docs, if you go to the main Laravel page, it's also possible. All you have to do is click documentation here, and it will take you to the page, which is here, right? So I don't need both of them. I'll close one. Here in the documentation, the first thing is installation. To install Laravel, you need to have PHP 7.2 or above, and these extensions and libraries are also required. So once you figured out, once you install these extensions and libraries and you update your PHP, which I won't go through, another thing that you might need is Composer. Composer is a library which is a dependency manager for PHP. It's PHP's equivalent of npm, if you know, not package manager in JavaScript. So what is important for is you can install all libraries and everything using Composer. You can install Laravel installer, and other things once you have Composer. If you are a PHP developer, you need to install Composer, and it's very simple. You might face some issues in the process, but basically you just have to run this PHP command. I have already installed Laravel in my application, and I have already installed Laravel installer, which is installed by using Composer global require Laravel installer. Once you have Composer and Laravel installer, now you can run Laravel and see this. That means you have Laravel installer installed, and it's used to create new Laravel application. You can also type Composer to see if you have Composer in your system, and you'll see all these commands of Composer. So I will go Laravel, go in my project, to projects. I've already installed this fast ticket. This is a fresh install of Laravel by running Laravel new fast ticket, which is the project we'll be building and we'll be playing with in this course. So I have that. I will open that in my code editor, and we will see the different parts of Laravel, freshly installed Laravel. While it's opening, In the meantime, I'll do PHP artisan serve. Okay, I'll cd into fast ticket and do PHP artisan serve. So this is a command to serve your Laravel application. By that, what I meant is Laravel has a built-in server that helps you during development. I will run that. And now it's telling us the application is running here. I'll follow that link. Just open my browser and type in the address. So this is a fresh install of Laravel. It just says Laravel and it has a link to other important Laravel places like GitHub, Doc, which is what we opened here, Laracast, which is a website you can go to learn Laravel, blog news. You can follow these things if you want to update yourself on Laravel. So this freshly installed Laravel has tickets, has these important folders. First is apps. Inside apps, you'll see HTTP. There you'll see controllers. For now, we just have controller. We haven't created any controller here. So this is a parent class controller, and we'll be extending this in our application. And here, side resources, views, we have now the welcome view, which is the view we have seen, the page that was opened here. Bunch of CSS, HTML, and links like here. So if I say here fast ticket, my laptop is acting so slow, I don't know why. And if I refresh this, holy shit. Did it refresh? Did I save the change I've made? Yes. Past ticket, yes. So you see, this welcome.blade.php is the view that's being served for me. How is this served? I'll go to the web.php here, which is under routes. This is the route.